The following program is underwritten in part by World's Best Cat Litter. You love your cat, but you don't love the litter box mess. Switch to World's Best Cat Litter and get a cleaner litter box with less hassle and less litter. Find it at Target, Walmart, and in your local grocery and pet stores.
Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team, veterinarian Dr. Debbie White and groomer Joey Villani. And here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
Oh, my turn? Almost didn't make it in time. How you doing? Hal Abrams here with you. The number is 866-405-8405. On the other end of that phone, we have Dr. Debbie answering your vet medical questions. Normally, we have Joey Villani, but he's off this week for a much-needed vacation. Lori Brooks reporting on news. We have a slightly increased in size Ladybug, the studio stunt dog, after Halloween. She got the best of her, apparently.
A lot of doggy treats.
A lot of doggy treats. And we have you. So give us a call now. Don't forget you can also ask your questions from the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. Now on the show today, is this for real? This is for real?
Yes, it is. The book came across my desk.
Okay, if you're a cat owner, we want you to listen up. This may affect you, and it could be very, very serious. Zachary Auburn will be joining us. What does he do? Can I see his title?
What's so serious about that?
He's the president of the American Association of Patriots, and he has a brand new book out.
What's that have to do with cats?
Well, here, just listen to the book. How to talk to your cat about gun safety.
Silence. Hear the crickets.
If you haven't had that talk with your cats about gun safety or abstinence, drugs, Satanism, and other dangers that threaten their 9 lives, Zachary will be here today to hip us to that information.
Okay.
I've got to be honest. I have talked to my cat about catnip. Mm-hmm. I have not mentioned anything about gun safety. I would imagine a gun in the wrong paws would be deadly, fatal.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wouldn't want that.
I think I've had it all wrong, because the reason I don't have human children is because I don't want to have those conversations.
Sure.
Dogs and cats, I thought I've been safe all these years, and I haven't had to do that.
Yeah, you would think.
Well, then you've been bringing them up wrong all these years without these talks.
Any of your animals on the dark side, Dr. Debbie? Any of them get a hold of a gun or some weapon?
No, well, my former Labrador, he used to have an eating compulsion problem, and he would, eat all sorts of things to excess, to his own detriment. We had 3 toxicities in his lifetime that he gorged himself on different things.
See, that could have been something else going on there. Could have been like a drug problem.
Yes.
Perhaps?
I guess. Yeah. I missed it. I never even thought that direction.
So on today's show, we will have Zachary Auburn hip us to that. You see, there are some things that even Dr. Debbie doesn't know. We look at her as the all-enlightened, but, we're all learning. But we will help you with your medical problems right now. Toll-free, 1-866-405-8405. At the bottom of the hour, a quick check on the news with Lori Brooks. What are we looking at this hour?
Well, if you like going through drive-thrus with your dog.
I do.
Then, I usually go through like a McDonald's and say, just a plain hamburger, no bun, no anything.
Really?
But now you can get Yappy meals or a Bow Wow bowl. And we'll tell you, this is really cool just for dogs.
Just for dogs. Okay. I know
just for dogs.
McDonald's, a Ladybug, she actually wants a quarter pounder with cheese. She'll request that with the cheese. And that's probably why she's looking a little big this week.
Uh-oh, she got a quarter pounder.
So there's a special place for it, and Lori Brooks will report on it. Remember, it is so easy to reach out to us. You can call toll-free 1-866-405-8405. You can also ask your questions from the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. This we go to the phones for Julie. Hi, Julie. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm so happy to speak to you.
Where are you?
I am in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania.
I love it. Listening on WEEU probably, huh?
Yes, that's very good.
Yeah, well, I know these stations. After 13, how many years has it been?
15.
15 years.
He just doesn't know how many years we've been around. He knows the stations.
Well, I'm impressed.
Julie, I have the whole dream team here for you. What can we do for you?
I might need them all.
Okay.
This is something I've never run into before. I've been rescuing ferals and that, so, I'm used to getting cats that have problems. All right. Now, this particular one, arrived September 4th, and I met her as she was desperately trying to eat ground that some suet had melted into.
Oh.
And she was extremely emaciated. Okay. And on top of that, she also had a totally lame left leg, which would have interfered with her chasing stuff to get food. So I fed her a little bit several times a day, and it took about 2 weeks till her system stopped getting diarrhea.
So how is she now? What's going on with her now?
She's up to 6 pounds, and she doesn't look like a cat that should be much more than 7. Okay, so she's gaining weight. She was 3 pounds, 4 ounces. So
wow.
She doesn't have diarrhea anymore, but what she does have, every day she will throw up some water with some hair in it. Now, she's very, very short-haired, and her coat looks perfect, okay? She also now, yesterday and the day before, in the throw-up, it looks like maybe some dead roundworms. Now, I had a stool sample taken when she arrived, and that was negative. And this is coming from the stomach and not the bowel.
All right. Well, I mean, it's still possible that she could have worms and even have a negative fecal sample on a particular time. So it just all depends on how prevalent the eggs are shed in the stool. Now, the other thing I'll mention is roundworms are one type of worm. There are some worms that don't even shed in a cat's stool sample that live in the stomach, and there's one called the stomach worm or Physoloptera. They tend to be smaller in size than a roundworm, but they never show up on a fecal sample, and cats and dogs can get these from pretty much eating anything from like crickets and cockroaches to snakes, rodents, you name it. And
just nailed it. Because
that would be a record time.
No, because they're the shape, of a roundworm, but they are much smaller and thinner.
Yep, that could be. So, yeah, and you'll never see those on a fecal sample. So, I mean, definitely, this kid needs to be dewormed. And I'd see your veterinarian for your typical dewormer, either anything from like Panicure to Pyra and Towel should help take care of these suckers. It may take a couple treatments, especially since, sounds like, she's living outside and she's going to be in these environments where she's getting reinfested with them.
Oh, no, she's inside now.
Okay.
She is, okay.
Yeah, that was an immediate.
Yeah. So yeah, I would definitely, this gal, I would deworm her and see. And there's a lot of times where we can have, I've had, like say with roundworms, I've had cats and dogs have worm burdens that can be so bad that it can actually cause a partial obstruction. So, it can just kind of clog up their guts because there's, all these worms in there.
Okay.
Less common with the Physoloptera.
Eat enormous amounts of food.
Physoloptera really doesn't cause a lot of significant symptoms, but, there can be other stuff going on in many cats that have chronic vomiting. We might talk about other things like intestinal disease that could be going on, inflammatory bowel disease. So there can be a lot of other stuff that could be going on with this kid.
Well, what I don't understand is when she throws up, there's always some hair in it. Mm-hmm. Could she have accumulated a large amount of hair in her gut while she was on the lam?
Sure, absolutely. And I've had dogs and cats that actually, there's something called a trichobezoar, which is basically like a hairball, but it isn't always just hair, and it can actually form kind of an obstruction. And I had one in a dog that there was such a mass of hair, and I think there was sticks in it as well. And it just gradually built up and created an obstruction. So, it sounds like you're providing some care for her, but it would be something I would definitely look at. And, an x-ray would be one good thing to do to see if we see anything in that stomach, and take that x-ray when she hasn't eaten for 12 hours, because that gives us the best bang for your buck when we're trying to look for something that might be kind of stuck in some part of the digestive tract.
Well, take her to the vet, get it checked out, and I wish we could do that on the radio. I wish you could just hold your animal up to the radio and we could worm them for you. I'm working on that technology.
Yes, absolutely.
Now, you call that the Physoloptera? What is that? Physoloptera?
Physoloptera. It's called the stomach worm. Yeah.
Sounds like a dinosaur.
Doesn't it though? I like the way it kind of rolls off the tongue, and it was really cool. I had a great case of this when I was just early in practice, and it was the same thing. Gosh, we did fecals, we can't figure out why this cat is vomiting chronically, and it just vomited up this worm in the exam room, and I looked at it in my hand. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is why. And that's one reason why veterinarians are so pushy about deworming dogs and cats on a regular basis, because not everything shows up in the stool where a pet owner can see it, or even a veterinarian can test for it.
Okay, here's the numbers. Toll free, 1-866-405-8405 to reach out to the Dream Team or ask your questions from the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
It's Alan Cable. There's big controversy regarding your pet sleeping with you. We're talking to a sleep doctor who said it's a bad idea and he got lots of hate mail. You know, there's experts on everything. You see them every day on TV. They try to tell you what to eat, when to sleep, where to go, what to do, what to look at. It's ridiculous. The doctor made a good point. He's just trying to help people in this country sleep because tons of us are having trouble sleeping. And he said if your pet is interfering with your sleep, then you should try not sleeping with your pet. That's all he said. Here's the reason I wanted to continue the discussion on this. There are a lot of folks that let their dogs eat whatever they eat and sleep in their own beds because they feel guilty. People like this guy.
What can I get you? What's the problem? Why are you crying? Tell me why you're crying, honey.
I feel sorry for that poor dog.
Why?
Because you're supposed to be a calm, confident leader. You're supposed to earn your dog's trust and respect.
Why are you crying?
That dog doesn't know what you're saying.
Are you afraid of the camera?
He just knows he's getting attention. Now, this person you're hearing is one of my friends, and his dogs sleep with him. He doesn't sleep, but his dogs do. In fact, his dogs run the entire show, and up until just a couple of days ago when I talked to him about it, he didn't see that. He didn't realize that. Now, 20 years ago when I used to tell folks to put their dogs in crates, they thought it was the most horrible thing there was. Putting your dog in a cage. Now it's accepted, thank goodness. The one thing that prevents us all from being good dog parents and good people parents is guilt. It cripples you. If you feel guilty about not letting your dog sleep in bed with you because he always has and he's whining about it, well, you're clouded with emotion and you'll never be able to do what's best for both your dog and yourself. Your dog is perfectly fine sleeping on the floor. In a dog pack, the leader has his own spot. None of the other dogs sleep with him. They don't go near his spot unless they're given permission. So can your dog respect you when you give up your spot and let him have it? Probably not. And you could be opening up a can of worms for a host of other troubles. So remember, if it works for you, fine. But if you're doing it out of guilt, well, that's the worst reason.
This is
Animal Radio.
We can't tell you why canine caviar is the only alkaline-based dog food, but we can tell you alkaline is proven to minimize the risk of renal failure and pancreatitis, reduce scratching, cellular degeneration, and disease, keeping your furry friend youthful and healthy longer. And those are the reasons we can fit into this short commercial. But by visiting caninecaviar.com, you'll see exactly what we do to make a better food for your dog. Try the one and only alkaline dog food risk-free. Canine Caviar.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
It's Animal Radio. And when you think of animals like Grumpy Cat is a multi-millionaire. I believe, wasn't it really like close to $100 million this cat had raised in branding and franchising? It's just an amazing, just because he's grumpy all the time, or she is grumpy all the time. And, it's one of those things, they have the choice, take him to the doctor, they put him on Prozac, but then, the cat's not grumpy anymore, and you lose that $100 million franchise.
There goes the income.
It happens a lot with Hollywood actors. The reason I bring this up, next hour we're talking to a guy who wants you to have that conversation with your cat to avoid depression, drug use, Satanism, all the dangers that threaten their 9 lives, including gun safety. This is important, especially if you keep a gun around the house. You don't want the cat getting a hold of it.
See, I don't keep a gun around the house just for that reason.
Yeah, neither do I. I have 12
Does anyone else think this is crazy? Am I the one that has to speak out in this group?
Thank you.
Am I the lone voice of reason here? I don't know.
So this is coming up next hour, and I think it would do you very well, Dr. Debbie, to be here for this interview.
All right, I'm here.
You don't own any cats.
Not currently.
I'm sure some of these things could apply to dogs, too. We'll find out. That's in just a few minutes. Lori, what are you working on over there in the newsroom?
Well, not cats, but dogs. If you're willing to do anything to keep the dog hair down around your house and, less of it, there's a new thing that your dog can wear or you can use that I think is absolutely positively adorable. And we'll tell you what it is that is going to keep your house cleaner. and less dog hair.
I prefer the dog hair. You know, if I have a meal without dog hair, I feel like I'm getting ripped off. But this may be something. Do you have the hiccups?
Yes, I do. I'm trying to keep them down.
What, have you been laughing so hard or something?
There's dog hair tickling her throat.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. So if you have a dog hair problem, be listening. Lori's going to report on that in just a couple of minutes right here on Animal Radio. Toll free, 1-866-405-8405. We'd even love to hear from you if you have a troubled cat. Maybe you have a story about a cat that got a hold of the guns or a serious crack or cocaine problem. We'd like to hear. I'm sure Dr. Debbie would like to hear that, too.
Yes, I'd love it. It would be very new and interesting.
And I would tell you can also ask your questions from the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. But in this particular case, we want to hear from you on the phones.
You know, that's interesting because we do hear about dogs being on antidepressants, but do you put cats on them?
Oh, yeah, usually for more elimination problems, aggression, inner cat issues, but...
Nike's on Prozac.
Yeah, we have Kitty here on Prozac, Kitty Prozac.
Yeah.
Nike's been on Prozac for, about 10 years now, I think, or so.
Yeah.
Long time.
Seems a lot happier now.
Yeah. He leaves the guns alone.
He's doing much better in school. Okay. Stop us. Hey, Alan, welcome to the show.
Yeah, my name is Alan.
What's going on, Alan?
Yeah, my mom's dog was following my mom yesterday, vacuuming, and my mom was vacuuming yesterday, and her dog got something in her eye, in the dog's eye.
And the dog died?
Oh, in the dog's eye.
Oh, in the dog's eye.
Yeah,
oh, my gosh. Okay. I misunderstood there. Okay. And so what is the doggy doing right now?
The doggy is, try to, get something out of the dog's eye. It's not getting out. And my mom is wondering what should she do to get it out.
Okay. So he's rubbing at the eye, scratching at the eye?
Yeah.
Okay. And is he squinting in it and holding it closed?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The first thing I'm going to tell you is that anytime a dog has squinting in the eye, that means there's pain there. So there's discomfort. So my best recommendation is to get him evaluated by a veterinarian because we want to make sure he doesn't have any kind of abrasion on his eye, which would be termed a corneal ulcer. So that's the hard thing. When you have a squinting eye, you can have that from pain of any sort. But an ulcer can be very serious. So we don't want to delay that and do home care if we're in that level of discomfort for the eye. Now, certainly in the short term, the things I would do in any emergency kit for people at home with dogs, when we're talking about eyes, I want some contact saline rinse that you would use for your family members that might have contacts. You can use that as an eye irrigating solution to loosen things that might be under the eyelids or any kind of particulates, any kind of dust or anything like that that might be in the eye. That's perfectly safe for dogs to use that. Now, that being said, you can also use things like artificial tears that are also sold in the contact lens aisle. Refresh brand tears is just one of the types of tears that you can put in to help kind of make the eyes feel more comfortable. But that's a short-term thing. If that baby's eye is red, squinting, and we're uncomfortable, you really need to get the baby into the veterinarian, and very likely we'd want to do something called a corneal stain. And it's a type of a stain technique that we put this dye on the eye, and it helps to outline any kind of scratches or ulcers that could be on the surface of the eye. If we have something like that, there's a certain regimen, certain type of treatment that needs to be done. So that's why it's so important to see your vet if we're in that kind of category of things. And definitely I'd say at this point, you said this is already the day later that the eye he's still squinting?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd say, that would definitely be a timeline that I'd get the baby to the veterinarian. I just don't there's some situations where it's good and there's a lot of tips you can do at home, but there's that point where we cross the line where we are maybe not doing the best by them if we're delaying seeing the veterinarian. And I'd have to say this warrants a call to get the baby in. So tell your mama that I said.
Gotta go. Thanks for your call, Alan. 1-866-405-8405 to speak with any one of the Dream Team toll free right now.
This is
Animal Radio, baby.
I am the family dog, and it's that time of year again. The one where pet parents start looking for Fido-friendly hotels and destinations where Fido is welcome. Make no bones about it. Pets are part of the family, and we like to sniff out new places too. And we hate to be turned away, especially when we're on our best behavior. So we won't be left out in the cold. Be sure to pick up a copy of Fido Friendly Magazine to find the best hotels and destinations where Fido is always welcome. Go online to FidoFriendly.com and subscribe today.
Hi, this is Paul Reiser, and you're listening to Animal Radio. Every minute you're here, you're not harming someone else. I don't know what that means. If it's usable, use it. Otherwise, cut it and get out.
This is an Animal Radio News Update brought to you by Fear Free. Fear Free takes the pet out of petrified and puts the treat into treatment. To learn more and find a certified Fear Free veterinary professional near you, visit fearfreepets.com.
I'm Lori Brooks. Bane and Vader. They're a couple of gentle, barrel-shaped bulldogs, just like the kind you see on the front of a Mack truck or here at the Animal Radio studios and in my studio every day. They're also the namesakes of a unique new business in Easton, Pennsylvania, being Bane and Vader's Drive-Thru restaurant, which is exclusively for dogs. You just pull up to the drive-thru window and order a FreshPet meal, and you get your choice of add-ins like fruit or vegetables, eggs, peanut butter, and maybe you'll want to take home some doggy ice cream for dessert. Their motto is bite with a bark. And Bane and Vader's mom is 30-year-old Amanda Brown. She left her pretty good job as a pharmaceutical sales rep and now has 2 human children along with her fur children. But she's back to work now, making what she calls Yappy meals and bow wow bowls for motorists who want to treat their dogs to something special. Her idea came from wanting to be able to give Bane and Vader something special when they wanted it or when she felt like giving it to him. And also a survey that she read that showed 1 in 6 restaurant drive-thru customers picks up something for their dog too.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
That's interesting, yeah.
Yeah, because, there are restaurants out there that do have special menu items for dogs. If you didn't know, In-N-Out Burger has a special unseasoned, a plain Pup Patty that they serve in a doggy bag. And, of course, Starbucks has their small cup of whipped cream, otherwise known as a Puppuccino. Yeah. But Bane and Vader's is strictly for dogs, and it has no special menu items for humans, so they're not sharing that menu. A special music album created just for cats is being lapped up by humans, too, who are paying for it all over the place. This album has topped 2 classical music charts on Amazon and iTunes. Despite being allergic to cats, American cellist David Tay, I'm guessing his name is spelled T-E-I-E, he released this album called Music for Cats. And it features 5 instrumental compositions, and he did it after he raised more than $200,000 on Kickstarter. Now, I'm not a classical music listener, or not very often, but that's a lot of money, so he must have some pretty big fans. On the album, his cello playing is accompanied by, nature sounds, bird chirping, and purring noises, based on his theory, which he says he researched for 2 years, that mammals have an intuitive response to sounds that were present in their early development.
Did you say they raised $200,000 on Kickstarter?
That's $200,000.
Must have been like a...
So he had some... Yeah, he must be a very good cellist.
Grumpy Cat probably made a big donation.
He's probably endorsed it, right? Yes. Now, if shedding season has you down, there is a new way to keep your house almost completely free of dog hair. And I know you're going, how on earth can that be possible? This is a silky soft, very form-fitted leotard that is made just for dogs. Remember the old bodysuit ladies? Same kind of thing. Yeah, it's kind of a cross between 1980s aerobics gear and a superhero outfit. This is made by the U.S. company Shed Defender, and the owner, Tyson Walters, says he came up with the idea because he has this huge St. Bernard Harley, and no matter how he tried, she still left tumbleweed-sized hairballs everywhere. So he went to work, and after 4 years of developing prototypes and trying everything, he now has the solution and a finished product. It's kind of like a dog bodysuit or a onesie, and it covers the dog's neck, the body, and all 4 legs, and it has a hole for the tail. I didn't ask about any other holes or, for boy dogs, but according to the company, their website, the fabric is totally breathable, won't make a dog hot, and allows for full-on fence jumping and movement, maybe cat herding or whatever. There are even claims that this unitard can help reduce anxiety and give a dog a sense of calm. So I guess that's like a thunder shirt, right?
Wow.
It's available, in 7 colors. Black, white, red, royal blue, turquoise blue, forest green, and hot pink, which is their number 1 seller.
Now, that's either a really, really good idea or a really, really bad idea. I can't figure it out.
Well, I used to do horse shows years ago, and we used these on horses a long time ago. Yeah, it's the same process. It just, keeps their hair nice and slick and not all over your clothing. If you're going to buy one, prices start at $45. They go up to only $60. And now the company says next up for them will be leotards for dogs in the colors of your favorite sports teams.
Wow. I'm speechless. And I don't, when it comes to clothing, I'm usually not speechless. I want it.
You're the first to put on clothing.
But I think I want one.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen these, go to the website, Shed Defender. And I think it's Shed-Defender. These dogs in their pictures are just adorable looking.
I'm looking at them now. They are pretty cute.
They look like little PJs.
Yes, they do.
Aren't they cute?
Yes.
I'd want them in like a tiger print.
That's probably after sports colors, Dr. Debbie. I'm Lori Brooks. Get more breaking animal news anytime at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update brought to you by Fear Free. The veterinarian isn't typically thought of as your pet's favorite place to go. With Fear Free, that all changes. To learn more and find a certified Fear Free veterinary professional near you, visit fearfreepets.com.
Hi friends, this is Dr. Marty Becker, America's veterinarian. As you know, going to the vet can be a traumatic experience for your pet, but it doesn't have to be that way. In fact, vet visits can be something your pet looks forward to. Introducing Fear Free. When your veterinarian is fear-free certified, you will be assured your pet's vet visit is more free of fear, anxiety, and stress than ever before. Fear-free takes the pet out of petrified, and it puts the treat into treatment. To find a certified fear-free veterinarian near you, go to fearfreepets.com.
Hello, everyone. It's Robert Semro, your Pet World Insider, here with this week's Animal Radio list, 5 advantages of adopting a senior pet. November is Adopt a Senior Pet Month, and this is one holiday I absolutely love. Every pet up for adoption needs a forever home, and there are some really important and gratifying reasons to adopt a senior pet. So let's begin with one that can be very important for those with a busy lifestyle or someone wanting the transition to be a smooth one. Training a young pet is a task, and one that is often filled with a test of patience, will, and intelligence. Everyone has different levels of each, but that's something that can be overcome when it comes to senior pets. Senior pets are often already trained and or have good manners. Yes, they may have a few mannerisms that you may need to redirect or retrain, but chances are that you'll find a strong foundation for you to work with. Next up is the reality that they likely have adjusted to being alone and on their own for extended periods of time and are already adept at finding peace in that alone time. Often younger pets need constant supervision and attention, or bad habits can develop, including high anxiety levels and or destructive tendencies. One of the more wonderful things for those wanting a specific kind of pet with a specific set of traits and personality is that a senior pet's personality is already developed and on display. You should be able to tell if they're going to need to be the life of the party, or they're just going to chill out and watch that romantic comedy sports events with you. This can be a huge advantage as you can determine how they'll fit into your lifestyle and, just as important, how you'll fit into theirs. Also, older pets are more likely to integrate themselves into the family quicker. They don't have to be taught the value of a loving family. They often just seem to know that they were blessed to be brought into a family, and they work to ingratiate themselves into that family. Also, they're less likely to be in a chew mode as they've grown out of the, if it exists, it's mine to chew phase. One of the great things about adopting a senior pet is that you can really identify the type of breed and characteristics you want and find that. There are so many opportunities for you to be a hero in this situation. There's pure breeds, mixed breeds, completely trained, completely active, and just completely chill, and so much more. One other important thing is that you can see how a senior pet integrates with your current pets much quicker. So it's much easier for you to know what you're getting in a senior pet than to hope to grow and train them into the pet that you want them to be. Every pet needs a home, and every home has a different need. With a senior pet, you'll be able to identify your wants and needs and find yourself that perfect family addition without some of the uncertainty that otherwise exists. Share your adopting senior pet tips on our Animal Radio Facebook page.
Well, this healthy serving of Animal Radio is brought to you by the grain-free Red Barn Naturals canned food for dogs and cats. It is always made in the USA with natural, functional ingredients to support your pet's optimal health. Learn more over at redbarninc.com, and thank you, Red Barn, for underwriting Animal Radio.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too. A Michigan man's practical joke involving his pet snake might land him in jail. 31-year-old James Mell thought it might be funny to stuff a 6-foot boa constrictor in his mailbox to give his mailman a scare. Postal carrier Nakima Anderson was making her rounds when she opened Mel's mailbox to find a snake looking at her. She then saw Mel laughing in his driveway, but she wasn't laughing, and made a complaint against Mel. Federal prosecutors charged Mel with obstructing the delivery of U.S. mail, a charge that could carry a penalty up to 6 months in jail. Mel said he's written an apology to Anderson, hoping to settle the matter. He explained that his snake isn't poisonous and would only strike at something it could eat. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio. Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
People say less is more. At Red Barn, we think less is better. It's what you won't find that sets our natural premium pet food apart. No byproducts, no corn or soy, no fillers. Just the natural ingredients your pets need to live the healthy life they deserve. Look at the label. We want you to. Red Barn Naturals Pet Food. Simply the best. Find it in your local pet specialty store. Red Barn canned food for cats and dogs is grain and gluten-free.
Hi, this is Justin Tyler Ferguson from Modern Family. I'm on Animal Radio. Adopt a pet.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
Which one are we going to?
Going to line 2.
Line 2. And on line 2 we have John. John is calling from New Orleans. How you doing? Mardi Gras over yet over there?
We're breaking up very badly.
Yeah, what's going on with your animal?
Well, he's being in the house. He's from the shelter. I adopted him about 3 months ago, and they started him on a heartworm program, and I can't exercise him due to the medication. Mm-hmm. And he's got a lot of energy. I don't know if that's connected with it, but I mean, he will just let it go. I just finished cleaning up an enormous big pool of it.
Is this a cat or a dog?
This is a dog. He's a German Shepherd. He's a smart animal, and I don't know what's going on with it. Whether it's the medication for the heartworms or what.
Okay. Well, and just to clarify, so he's being treated for heartworm disease, which means that he's being treated by the heavy-duty melarsoline, which helps to kill the adult worms. And when that happens, pets have to be confined strictly because activity, exercise, running, playing can actually cause those dying worms to lodge and cause blockages. And that can actually cause a fatal event. So that's why that activity restriction is so imperative in a pet being treated for heartworm disease. So it can be really tough because, they get anxious, they get built up, pent up energy. So for some dogs, if it's appropriate and it's cleared with a veterinarian, I will use some tranquilizers and sedatives to kind of help calm them at certain times of the day. But beside that, your problem with urinating in the house, It would not typically be a symptom related to the heartworm treatment, but it's always a great idea to have that urine sample checked with your veterinarian to make sure there's not something going on, because if there's not, then we're going to focus more on getting kind of back to the core basics with training. An anxious or kind of freaked out pet who has all this energy that can't go outside may be more prone to eliminating in the house, either through urine marking or just soiling in the house. So in those instances, we really have to do supervised outdoor trips to go to the potty area, and you have to go back and treat him almost like he's a puppy. Where you praise, take him out on a leash, give him loads of affection and the occasional treat even for doing that outside. And supervision really is key in these situations. So if you're missing the urine accidents in the house, you definitely can't punish him on those things. And the more you can supervise and get him outside and give that positive reinforcement for the good place that he goes, that's going to go the furthest here. If this is more of a behavioral type problem.
Do you think that medication can cause their hair to fall out?
Not typically, but as far as if you're in an area where you have a lot of heartworm, you very likely have other types of parasitic diseases. So fleas would definitely be big.
He doesn't have anything. No, he doesn't have any other diseases.
Okay. Well,
he's very healthy.
Okay. Well, as far as, with the hair loss, I guess I can't say a whole lot about that. It's hard to see it over the television. I don't think it's related to your pet's medication. Now, there certainly can also be pets that turn to themselves if they have cooped up anxiety, and they can actually self-traumatize, and that can cause hair loss. They'll actually have sores, and that would be something typically you would be observing and then potentially seeing him doing that. So if you're not witnessing that, it might be less likely for that.
He's not doing that. Okay, let me ask you one last question, Doctor. He's got a lot of gas. I don't know what to do for him.
Okay, yeah. And is he a pretty, you said he's a pretty high-strung fella. Does he do a lot of panting, a lot of running around the house?
Yes.
He does? Okay. Because one common cause of excess gas is excess ingestion of air. And this is one reason why a lot of the bulldogs and the squishy-faced dogs have tremendous gas, is because they're always kind of going swallowing air. So if a dog is running around panting a lot and they're really anxious, they may be inherently swallowing more air. So this is where maybe a sedative or an anti-anxiety medicine might help that regard as well. Now, if not, and we still have a lot of gas, there's a couple things you can do. One thing is dietary altering. So sometimes one type of diet or one brand might settle with a pet's digestive system better than another. Just like people, certain diets may be better or not so good for them, depending on the fiber content in the ingredients. So that might be one thing to try, is to switch to another good premium quality food and do that, doing that gradually. In a pinch, there are some occasional dogs I give Beano to, but that's usually the uncommon pet that I've already tried everything else.
So what was the last thing you said?
Trying Beano.
Oh, that's what I told my wife we were going to do.
Yeah. Hey, but I'd rather see you try a different diet first, though.
Okay.
I was talking to my wife about that too, and she wanted it for me. She was that was a whole different story. Hey, I appreciate your call today. Good luck with that, John. Thanks for calling from New Orleans today, where I believe Mardi Gras is finally ended there. Boy, what does that last? 6 months? It's a long-ass holiday.
It's perpetual.
It is. We're going to head back to the phones toll-free for your calls. Dr. Debbie answering your calls. By the way, if you have a Yorkshire Terrier, a Shih Tzu, a Pug, or a Mini Schnauzer, check out Dr. Debbie's books, How to Be Your Dog's Best Friend. The Kindle books over at Amazon, and we have links over at animalradio.com.
You're listening to Animal Radio. If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
Hey everybody, this is Brett Michaels, and I just want to say, you, right now, want to take, wait, give me the line again, my brain skipped.
Brett Michaels.
I just had one of my brain hemorrhage brain farts.
Oh, don't do
that.
I don't want to be responsible for that.
Trust me, it's me. Go ahead.
Animal Radio, Brett Michaels, Animal Radio.
You got it. I knew the Animal Radio, okay, here we go. Hey, this is Brett Michaels. You're listening to Animal Radio, and take care of your pets. They will rock your world.
All dogs should eat a pH-balanced alkaline diet. An alkaline diet reduces health risks and can also reduce scratching, shedding, and hot spots. So does this mean you need to check your dog's pH balance? No, because Canine Caviar has created the first and only alkaline dog food that is pH balanced. It also has the highest metabolized calories. What does this mean? Your dog needs to eat less. Get a healthier dog and save money with Canine Caviar products. Find them at your local pet supply store or online at caninecaviar.com.
Celebrating the connection with our pets. This is Animal Radio, featuring your dream team, veterinarian Dr. Debbie White and groomer Joey Villani. And here are your hosts, Hal Abrams and Judy Francis.
And if you've just tuned in, at the top of this hour here, very delighted to announce that this hour we will have Zachary Auburn on. A very important book he's written about talking to your cat about gun safety, abstinence, drugs, Satanism, and the other dangers that threaten their 9 lives. If you haven't had a frank conversation with your kitties about any of these subjects, it might be time for you to have that conversation. Zachary will tell us how, right here on Animal Radio. Now, Dr. Debbie can't keep from cracking a smile.
I'm struggling. I'm trying to behave.
This is very serious, and I hope when he's on that you will respect him and be very serious.
When am I not nice to our guests? It's just you, Hal, that I have a problem with.
Wasn't that last week?
Okay. We're going to go back to the phones for your calls, toll free at 1-866-405-8405. You could also bring your cats around the radio for this conversation that's coming up in just a few minutes. But first, your calls. If you have a question, a veterinary question for Dr. Debbie, call that number. Or you can ask also from the free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. And dog father Joey Villani not here this week, but if you have a grooming question, I'm sure that Dr. Debbie can tackle that. Also, Lori, what are you working on over there in the newsroom?
Well, there's, since we're talking so much about cats today, there's a new study that's just been released on the origins of ancient cats. Not so mysterious anymore because they've really delved into this, and we've got some answers for you.
That's on the way in just a few minutes right here on Animal Radio. Let's go to the phones. Well, the numbers are toll-free, 1-866-405-8405, and we go to Bonnie. Hi, Bonnie.
Hi.
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine.
Where are you calling from today?
Actually, from Cayucas.
Oh.
And I'm calling because I had a little Shih Tzu. She's 3 years old. I love her to death. And she is dealing with itching all the time. The vets have said that she has an allergy, which I agree with, but they don't know what it's from or why. And I've had probably spent over $600 now on her, just trying to figure out something for her.
Wow.
Anyway, she is losing fur around her eyes, and or it's thinning out. She has a couple of bald spots around her eyes, almost like where her little eyebrows would be if she had eyebrows.
Okay.
And they've done they scrape, because I asked the vet, I said, it looks like she's, her hair's falling out. Could you check to make sure she don't have anything? They did a scraping, and there is nothing. Like, I was thinking mange or, the word.
Right.
But anyway.
Right. Okay, so what have they done? If you spent $600, what has been done, and what worked or didn't work?
She's had antibiotics. She's had steroids. She's had, and it doesn't work. Everything. She has a rash on her whole little body, mm-hmm. and now it's gotten so bad that she has one ear right now that's real bad. And I finally got a friend to give me some antibiotic ointments, and I've been using that it's mm-hmm. so red. And it's now that I've used this ointment, I can tell you the name of it, but anyway, it's brought that fire down, the redness in her ears, but she's scratching so bad that she's crying.
Oh, goodness. Now, and did they, that you said that they use steroids, did that seem to help her, give her any relief with the itch?
No.
Okay.
No,
well, that's And that's not a good sign if we're talking about a presumed diagnosis of allergies, because most patients with allergies, steroids, they're sometimes the necessary evil. They're good at helping with the itch, but, they can kind of suppress the immune system and they can have other types of infections. So the fact that that didn't help might mean, okay, well, one, there's other types of steroids. So sometimes it's a dose or a choice of a steroid that might be the better one for her situation. So I'm going to just kind of pretend I didn't hear any of the stuff that you just told me, because there's a couple of things that I wanted to address. One is that if you walk into your human physician office and you say, hey, I have a runny nose, congestion, and sneezing, what am I allergic to? They're not going to be able to tell you any more than your veterinarian can tell you what your dog is allergic to. So we have to kind of change our expectations a little bit about when we have a pet that's scratching like this. Allergies are commonly a concern, but we do need to look at some of those other things that can really kind of upset the apple cart, if you will. So things like flea control is imperative with any itching dog. And I don't care where you live, even here in Las Vegas, we do flea control if we have an itchy pet. The other things that we do look at is going to be looking at the skin surface. So beyond just taking a scraping for mites or parasites, I'm going to do an impression smear, and I'm going to look at that under the microscope. Do I see yeast? Do I see bacteria? Because those kind of secondary infections have to be addressed, or we are not going to get anywhere with a pet that, say, has allergies if they have a yeast infection in the skin.
I think she has a yeast infection, just like what you were saying. And I'm only saying that because I'm an ex-nurse. And so I listen to all these things and I'm going, yep.
Yeah.
Yeast.
Yeah, and you know what? Some of the I've had quite a few Shih Tzus actually with some really horrible yeast, to the point where their skin gets leathery, turns colors, and they're just quite miserable. So if that is something that your veterinarian has diagnosed, or maybe you suspect it, that would be something to really address in a more complete way, because topicals don't always do enough. A lot of times I'll have to add in like an oral ketoconazole or something like that to help manage a pet with cutaneous yeast. And it can take a long time. We're talking like weeks to months of therapy to help kind of rectify that. So that would be definitely a direction. The other thing is that, at least here in my office, we have some kind of great tools to help an itchy pet that has allergies. And some of them may be available in your area. I don't know. But there is a medicine called Apoquel, which helps to block some of the itch pathway for pets with allergies. And we do have to have infection under control. They have to be...
What was it called again?
It's called Apoquel, spelled APOQUEL. So that's one thing that it's given on a daily basis, and it is a wonderful product for many animals. So that might be one thing to ask your veterinarian about if she's a candidate for that. The other thing is there's a new antibody, it's a monoclonal antibody, and we abbreviate it as called CADI, C-A-D-I, and it's a canine atopic dermatitis immunotherapy. And it's got a conditional license, so it is pretty new, but it is something that I've had some great success in helping get the itch relief. And it also works kind of similar to Apoquel, that it helps to block part of the cellular messengers, if you will. So it blocks the receptor for the pet for itching. So they may still have skin problems going on, but we give them some relief. And it lasts for about a month. So it's not a magic cure, but if we're looking just for itch relief, it can help while we still do all these other steps to try to get, things in line and to get the skin looking better.
All right.
But those are some things. And then some pets, in not to say you haven't invested a lot, but in some pets we'll go through all these other things, and I actually may get to a point where if I feel I've tried all these things, haven't gotten there, then I may even look at things like biopsying. It sounds to me like we've got a lot of more steps that we can do. And even though your veterinarian didn't see any skin mites, in a lot of cases with a super itchy pet that doesn't respond to steroids, I'm going to treat them for mites anyways. And I might use one of the new oral products that are actually flea tick medicines, but help to kill both scabies mites and Demodex mites.
Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, because it's everywhere. It's not just localized. It is everywhere. And when she started losing the hair around her eyes because she's scratching, and she's been scratching that one ear, and it in this week it's starting to smell, so I know there's an infection. Anyway.
Oh, yes. I wish I could put my nose up to your doggy on the phone right now. But yeah, no, I think you've definitely got a lot of opportunity there, things that we could address. So yeah, I would, either speak to your veterinarian or even you can see a dermatologist in the area. There are board certified veterinary dermatologists in most major areas of the country where if you don't feel you're getting where you need with your general practitioner and they're kind of throwing up their hands, that might be another avenue as well.
Yeah, I've changed your food. I've done all the little things that you need to do, truly. And I love my dog. I just don't, I've even gotten to the point of thinking, well, maybe this is an inherent thing that she is never going to get rid of, and I can't have her suffering. You know what I mean? And I think about that. It just makes me cry because I wouldn't want to put her down simply because she's so miserable. But if we can't get it taken care of, I don't know what else to do. I don't want to see her suffer anymore. It's bad.
Yeah.
We're talking 2 years. This is the second year. We're not talking in just recently. I mean, she's losing hair recently, but this is going on the second year.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely, like I said, there is some light at the end of the tunnel. And I can tell you, I've had many cases where I have clients that are dealing with what you're dealing. And then at the end, they're like, oh my gosh, my pet can sleep through night. I can sleep through the night because my dog isn't waking me up with the collar scratching all night. So there are things that we can do. And I think just going to be getting those steps. So.
Oh, honey,
good luck.
Thank you so much for your insight because I listen to you guys all the time and I think, gosh, there's got to be something. There's got to be a way.
Well, it sounds like there's lots of avenues you could head down still to figure it out. And good luck. We wish you the best of luck with that. We actually battled that ourselves with Ladybug, the studio stunt dog. Bonnie calling from Cayucas. Where is that? Just north of Morro Bay. I know that as a fact. Let's head back to the phones, toll free, 1-866-405-8405, or on your free Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. Where's Morro Bay? Well, that's just west of San Luis Obispo.
Yeah.
Where's San Luis Obispo?
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
Hi, this is Tanya Tucker on Animal Radio. Love those pets.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Find us at animalradio.com. Log on, learn more.
If you have cats, I bet you didn't realize there's a connection between common health problems in cats to the type of litter you use. Ammonia forms in the litter box and can cause vomiting, diarrhea, drooling, panting, and even upper respiratory infections. You can stop this by switching to Cat's Incredible Litter. It has patented technology that stops ammonia from forming, with all profits going to help animals in need. Available now at your local pet store and Petco stores nationwide.
It's Animal Radio. As you probably know, if you're as knowledgeable as I am, cats invented the internet. We know that because that's what we all go to the internet for, right? To look up cat videos.
Of course.
That's where we spend our time. In fact, that's how cats became so popular, is the internet. But there are many dangers that lurk online for our cats if they use the internet. Online predators, they can be taken to the dark side very fast. Coming up within 10 minutes, I promise you, how to talk to your cat about gun safety, abstinence, drugs, Satanism, and the other dangers that threaten their 9 lives. Zachary Auburn is our guest who will be joining us. Is he going to be ready for this? This is very serious. We get a lot of calls about this the last hour. I thought he was going to be on last hour, but apparently Guido, our producer, said that this is a very interesting topic. We want to save it to last, and it will drive our ratings through the roof if we do that.
Yep.
He's also telling me not to say that on the air right now. Sorry about that.
Zach will be ready.
Good. Okay. Lori, what are you working on this hour?
Well, there's a dog who loves licking facial hair. And this is a really bizarre show, isn't it?
It is.
We're going to tell you How this dog is helping America's airports.
That's on the way right here.
Wow, I didn't think that facial hair was a problem at airports.
Dr. Debbie wonders why she's even associated with this show anymore.
But you know what? I don't know if I've told you this sad story of my little boss, of his little peculiarity. He loves hair, and he loves to rub on hair.
Yes.
But he rubs on men's leg hair.
Men's leg hair.
Yeah, that's his fetish, huh?
Is that why your
Yes.
husband shaves his legs? I was wondering about that.
It's creepy. It really is to see it, because he gets almost like a cat, when they rub their chin, that kind of gleeful look on their face. He does that, and then he flips over on his back and rubs back and forth like a cat, and I'm like, oh, it's so troubling. It really does scare me.
So he doesn't care for women's leg hair?
I don't usually grab my leg hair out, so I don't know. I haven't tested, but he loves women's hair. Long hair. He'll burrow. He'll meet new people, and he rubs his whole body in your hair. He'd love your hair there.
Sounds perfectly normal to me. So,
peculiarity. I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's on the way. In just a few minutes, we're going to find out the deal behind the facial hair and the dog that likes the facial hair. And where can I find this dog that likes facial hair? Because my beard could use a cleaning right now. Let's go to the phones. Hey, Daniel, how you doing?
Oh, good. How are you today?
Good. Where are you calling from?
I'm in Georgia.
Georgia. Are you a truck driver?
No, just live in Georgia.
Just live in Georgia. Okay. I got Dr. Debbie here. How can we help you?
Well, I've got a great All-American dog. Looks to have maybe some Rottweiler in him, so he's a pretty big dog. But my local vet told me to cut him back about 10 pounds, and we've been working on it. But cutting back his food has been a problem for him. He's tending to eat his poop, and my other dog's poop out in the yard now, and I'm wondering what I can do about it.
Lovely, isn't that old wonderful feces eating? It's just such a thrill, especially when they come back with that on their breath.
Yes.
So have you had any success getting him to lose weight?
Yeah, we got a few pounds off of him, but he just acts like he's starving all the time. Of course, every dog I know acts like that, but he's just now eating and starting to eat plants in the house. And
okay, well, let me ask you what strategy that you are currently doing for weight loss. Are you using any special prescription-based food, or were you just cutting back on the calories that he's eating?
Mostly cutting back on the calories, but we have the last bag of dog food we bought, the kind of the weight loss dog food, and then still cutting back a little bit.
Okay. Well, here's the reality check for people that are trying to get their pets to lose weight. Now, if you just try restricting those calories by scaling back on the amount you're feeding, you're going to create a very hungry, frustrated dog, and that's what you got right now. Yeah. The reason is that even those foods that you buy over the counter at the grocery store, at the pet store, that say weight loss or for weight loss, they're really not geared towards longevity of weight loss. What you need to do is speak to your veterinarian about this and say, hey, help me out. My dog is eating things off the walls, the floors, the feces, what have you, and we need to get this baby on actually a food that is designed for lower calories but also still keeps those other important nutrients up. The big problem is when we cut back calories in the effort to drop the weight, if we don't have them on this type of diet, they're getting less protein, they're getting less vitamins, less minerals, and we can create not only a hungry dog, but a pet that has a nutritional deficiency. So it is just so important. And I know a lot of people say, oh, we just cut back a little bit here and there and we get them to lose weight. It may work for some pets, but it really can create a problem for others. So I would say that would be my number one prescription for you, is to see your veterinarian about a prescription weight loss diet. And there's a lot of good ones out there, and we want to get a gradual weight loss of really only maybe 1% body weight per week. So in a dog your baby's size, that might be not even quite a pound, half a pound to a pound a week. So we want to make sure that's gradual and that we're not making a frustrated pet, because that's just no fun. And dogs that eat things inappropriately, there's a whole behavior of that. But if we're trying to lose weight, then we can actually be driving that. And then we also want to make sure you're giving the baby some other outlets to chew, increase the interactive nature. So, lots of play time, lots of fetch time. a lot of those toys, the Kong stuffed toys, the busybody toys, those things that have a little food item that they're working for, it keeps their mind and their belly occupied. So I think that would give you some other directions that we can go for your dog to kind of keep them occupied and not feeling like we're in the Weight Watchers Club or the Ginny Weight Club there and a happy baby. So good luck with that, Daniel, and hope he drops that weight and isn't so unhappy about things there.
Well, I'll definitely try that.
Thanks, Daniel. 1-866-405-8405 to connect with anyone of the Dream Team right now.
You're listening to Animal Radio. Call the Dream Team now at 1-866-405-8405.
The Movie Man 6-second DVD review starts now.
Woody Allen's good-looking, easy-breezy Cafe Society is tasty enough to spend time with the great cast. I'm in!
Just because you don't have time to read a book doesn't mean you can't enjoy stories about artists and groups that you love. To discover a whole new world of audiobooks and hear the stories that made the music, visit HappyLandAudio.com. That's HappyLandAudio.com.
This is an Animal Radio News Update brought to you by Fear Free. Fear Free takes the pet out of petrified and puts the treat into treatment. To learn more and find a certified fear-free veterinary professional near you, visit fearfreepets.com.
I'm Lori Brooks. Finally, the veil of mystery around the origins and spread of ancient cats is beginning to lift a little. The first large-scale genetic study of domesticated cats has revealed a huge amount of information about how early feline companions boarded boats that would take them around the world. They would hitch rides with all sorts of ancient cultures, including Vikings. It is believed that about 12,000 years ago, cats started developing bonds with humans. The study finds that the first domesticated cats were in fact from wild cats that would run after rodents in fields of ancient farmers, and then eventually those cats made their way into the homes of the farmers and became the family pets. Genetic analysis of the ancient felines' remains reveals that cats likely spread out in two different waves. Remains from a 9,500-year-old grave in Cyprus suggest that first wave likely happened with the earliest farmers being in the eastern Mediterranean. Scientists think that from their original breeding grounds, Egyptian cats were then taken on ships as mice hunters. And interestingly, this study also found this kind of offbeat tidbit. They discovered that cats who have spots in their coloring, that those spots did not happen before the Middle Ages.
That's strange.
Weird.
Yeah.
Well, bats are a pretty common theme around this time of year, and they are good for the environment too, eating insects and pollinating plants, but bats are also a common carrier of rabies. And for the second year in a row, the number of rabid bats in Maryland has increased. State officials say so far this year, there have been more than 100 confirmed rabid bats found in the state, and about 900 Marylanders are treated every year after they are exposed to potentially rabid animals. That seems like a whole lot of people to me. But rabies is usually found in raccoons, skunks, foxes, cats, those bats, and groundhogs, which is, of course, why it's important for pets and farm animals to all be vaccinated. The American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals recently honored two actresses in Los Angeles. Beth Bears from Two Broke Girls was presented with the 2016 Compassion Award for her huge efforts dedicated to directly impacting the lives of vulnerable and even victimized animals, while Sarah Hyland from the hit TV show Modern Family, she picked up the Voice for Animals Award for her work in increasing awareness and inspiring action on behalf of animals that are in crisis. And proceeds from the event supported the launch of the organization's new LA Mobile Spay-Neuter Clinic. And with the crowds, the noise, the lines and everything, all those people, flying can be so stressful for people. So the Albuquerque, New Mexico airport, which they call the Sunport, has come up with a way to calm people down when traveling. More than a dozen therapy dogs have just been added to the thousands of passengers at the airport to help them get through the stress. The dogs are a huge hit, especially this guy. One dog's name is Turbo, and he loves people. He especially loves men with beards. And Turbo apparently loves licking beards, too. So you can imagine that's pretty distracting for all the men that he will be licking their beards. Turbo is one of 15 certified therapy dogs and canine ambassadors, now giving peace to stressed out travelers in Albuquerque. And thanks to the 70 people who volunteered their time to handle those dogs, the program will now be expanding the number of therapy dogs very soon. I'm Lori Brooks. Get more breaking animal news anytime at animalradio.com.
This has been an Animal Radio News Update brought to you by Fear Free. The veterinarian isn't typically thought of as your pet's favorite place to go. With Fear Free, that all changes. To learn more and find a certified Fear Free veterinary professional near you, visit fearfreepets.com.
Hi friends, this is Dr. Marty Becker, America's veterinarian. As you know, going to the vet can be a traumatic experience for your pet, but it doesn't have to be that way. In fact, vet visits can be something your pet looks forward to. Introducing Fear Free. When your veterinarian is fear-free certified, you will be assured your pet's vet visit is more free of fear, anxiety, and stress than ever before. Fear-free takes the pet out of petrified, and it puts the treat into treatment. To find a certified fear-free veterinarian near you, go to fearfreepets.com.
Hey, listen up. If you have a Yorkshire Terrier, a Shih Tzu, a Pug, or a Mini Schnauzer, do you know about Dr. Debbie's books? They are some awesome Kindle reads over at Amazon.com, How to Be Your Dog's Best Friend, and we have links from animalradio.com, so check them out. Which line do you want me to go to? I know we only have time for one more, Judy.
Let's go to line 2.
Line 2, and I believe that's Lynn. Hi, Lynn.
Hello, how are you today?
Good. You're on with Dr. Debbie.
Well, hi.
Hi there. I have an African who's now 2 years old. And
A monkey dog. Oh, wonderful.
He has a lot of issues, but I can deal with the excitement urination. I can deal with the allergy problems, but one thing I'm really having issues with is his behavior of eating everything. When you take him outside, he's like a little warthog, just clicking around and sniffing. And I mean, it's grass, it's money, it's gum, rocks, sticks. He thinks the mulch garden is his own buffet.
Oh my gosh! And is it only when he's out?
No.
Is it only when he's out for walks and such?
No. If you drop something in the house, if it's small enough to eat, it's in him.
And has he ever had any ill effects from getting into any of these things?
Fortunately, no, but that's the problem, because if you can't, I crate trained him. So unless, the only time he actually gets out of his crate is like when we're, family time, when we're watching TV, or when he can actually physically be with someone in the family, because you can't trust him that he won't go eat something. And I hate that.
Yeah. And I think there's a couple solutions that I'd have for you. One, as far as when you do have them out and you're doing like a formal walk, taking them outside, there's 2 options we can go with. One, which I would probably lean more towards, is the gentle lead style harness. And that, if you're not familiar with that, it's kind of a leash system that fits over the muzzle area. And it's the equivalent, basically, of a bridle for a horse. And it's the same way we control a 1,500-pound beast when we're much smaller, is that the animal doesn't like to have the head pulled abnormally, and it pulls on the nose. So it's not really horribly uncomfortable, but it's just unfavorable feeling. So that's one way to help keep that nose from going down to the ground. And it takes a little time for dogs to learn those harnesses and to feel comfortable with that. But I would say that would be one of the best solutions for those situations when you're going out. And the other thing that you can use, and I've had some folks, and it's usually when they throw up their hands and they just can't stop, they can't deal with the situation anymore, is the basket muzzle for the mouth. And those are the big wire muzzles that basically they can breathe, they can pant, they can even drink water with those on. But it helps to put a barrier for those pets that we just can't trust their nose to the ground, that they're going to ingest anything and everything in their path. So that's maybe a lesser favored solution for that.
I've seen those, and I've even thought before, he knows he's doing bad, because you can say spit it out, or spit it out, and he'll spit it out, but he may walk 2 steps and just bite it again.
Yeah. Now, and all of this kind of has to be taken in conjunction with some behavioral steps, because if you are with him and he's starting to pick up something, the last thing I'm going to tell you to do is to yell at him and to tell him to drop it. I'm going to actually advise you to do more of a redirection of that activity. So the more that you say, hey, drop that, give me that, and you grab for something, the more fun that becomes in the doggie's game world. So we want to actually redirect it to something else that's more fun, more interesting, and more overwhelming to him than whatever that little piece of paper or the pine cone along the way. So what you need to do is you need to have squeaky toys. You need to have even treat items, and you need to have these kind of as your backup plan. So if you're walking along and to say you're in the house and he comes across a sock laying there, and if he comes across that and he wants to pick that up, you have in your pocket a squeaky toy. You squeak it, and you go running in an opposite direction. What you've done is you've made this more fun and more of a game than whatever that little thing was, and he's going to forget about that sock thing, whatever that was on the floor. So you don't want to actually give him that negative reinforcement for going after certain items. And it's not always going to work that way, but you just want to try to prevent that kind of association with those items. And it's hard because I've been there myself, my pups when they were young, and you see them chewing on things, and it just hurts. But you try to redirect it in another way, and I think with repetition you'll get to there. And in the meantime, while you got them out walking, use the muzzling situation or the gentle lead harness. I think that'll help you quite a bit.
I'll certainly give it a try because what I'm doing today is not working, and I appreciate it.
Okay, my pleasure. Thanks for the call. This is Dr. Debbie. Give us a call here at 1-866-405-8405.
Dogs or cats, horse or emu, animals are people too.
A Sacramento couple said they were shocked and confused when their dog received a bill from Verizon online. Steve Finelli and Sean Donovan said their Lhasa Apso named Andy Finelli received a notice in the mail from a collections agency about a bill totaling $142.34. Verizon said the bill was meant for a man named Andy Finelli who lives on the other side of the country. AFNI Collections Agency said the confusion may have resulted from the fact that Andy Finelli, the dog, has his own American Express card, which Donovan obtained when it was offered to family members. Donovan said she often takes her girlfriends out to lunch on Andy, the dog. I'm Britt Savage for Animal Radio.
Animals are people too. Animal Radio.
The Movie Man 6-second review starts now.
Some of it's funny, some of it not so much, but Kevin Hart's What Now gives fans exactly what they want. The Minty Bin.
Just because you don't have time to read a book doesn't mean you can't enjoy stories about artists and groups that you love. To discover a whole new world of audiobooks and hear the stories that made the music, visit happylandaudio.com. That's happylandaudio.com.
You're listening to Animal Radio. If you missed any part of today's show, visit us at animalradio.com or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android.
It's Animal Radio, celebrating the connection with our pets. My cats are my family. They're my children. And yeah, I've had that conversation with my cats about catnip. And if you have cats, you should have that conversation too with it. This new book just came across my desk. It's How to Talk to Your Cat About Gun Safety and Abstinence, Drugs, Satanism, and Other Dangers That Threaten Their 9 Lives. And I figured, why not get the author on? Hey, Zachary, how are you doing? Zachary Auburn joining us.
I am well, thank you.
So now tell us about the book and what inspired you to write it.
What inspired me to write it was, I look at the state of America, I look at the state of our cats, and I see a nation and cats in crisis.
You do?
Yes.
I've been saying that for years, and I'm glad there's somebody that
we knew
that agrees.
This day was coming.
Yeah.
Modern cats, I think they're facing a real spiritual and cultural crisis, and they need our help and they need our guidance. I wrote this book so it could be the light that leads our cats out of these dark, dark times. I know cats can see in the dark, but still.
What is the most troubled you've seen a cat?
We get a lot of letters from pet owners looking for advice. There was one about a cat named Professor Fluffyface who had fallen on hard times. He had become addicted to catnip.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Had gotten to some really dark places. Letting strange men pet him for money, earn money for catnip. It was. Sorry. It was a sad situation.
It is. It's not laughable, Dr. Debbie, and you of all people should know this.
I know, but I'm wondering what is the biggest What is the biggest catastrophe that you see coming?
I think probably the rise of, like just the godless culture in America. It undermines, the faith of our cats, and it makes it so much easier that they would, succumb to premarital sex, to Satanism, to drug use, to poor, gun safety habits. That's really the foundation of my book is teaching your cats to be, responsible, hardworking pets to help make America great.
Dr. Debbie, I don't think you're taking this very seriously.
I'm trying to grasp the whole concept of how cats have gun concerns because they don't have little opposable thumbs.
That's the thing, Dr. Debbie. That's the thing is they don't have the control of the opposable thumbs. You put a gun in their hand and it is dangerous, dangerous, dangerous.
Now, if you don't believe it, I would say go do a Google search for a man named Joseph Stanton, who was recently shot by his cat.
What do you got? Ladies, this is not funny.
We talked about that on show. I'd have to say that, maybe this all goes back down to the root family. Anytime we talk about inner city crime or, young mothers, out of wedlock, is it the way you're raising them? So do we need to turn this back on the pet owner, on the cat owner and saying, have you raised your cat right?
I do think that's very important. So many cat owners I talk to, they don't bring their cats to church. They don't pray with their cats. And how can you expect to raise, a cat who's a hardworking, productive member of society, who has good morals, who has good, strong ethics, if they're not exposed to the teachings of Christ?
So I should go ahead and just leave my Bible open just so my cat can just randomly look at the pages when it wants to?
Yeah, I mean, what we recommend, the best thing you can do for your cats, get a bunch of Bibles, spread them out on the table or on the floor. Cats love laying on books, on paper, and that way they can absorb the wisdom of Jesus just by laying on the books.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. That didn't work for me in college so much. I tried that where I'd fall asleep with my head on the textbook, but I woke up and I still didn't know anything more than I fell asleep.
Are there any signs we should be looking for in our cats to know that something's going awry and we need this book here?
It really depends on what you are worried about the issue. If you're worried that your cat is turning to Satanism, you might want to check their litter box to make sure they're not scratching satanic runes into their litter box.
Okay.
To make sure they haven't dyed themselves black to be more goth.
Yeah.
With drugs, it can just be erratic behavior. If you find needles stashed behind their cat tower, stuff like that. It's really. There's a lot of dangers for our cats, so you really, you can't just issue a blanket statement of, look out for this.
I just want to know if my cats, because what are the odds? I have so many cats, and one of them.
How many cats do you have?
Last count around a dozen.
God bless you. That is wonderful.
And I don't know. I would assume that one of them has turned to the dark side. I mean, statistically. Is catnip even really an option at all at this point? I mean, should we allow is that like a gateway drug?
It is 100% a gateway drug. By giving your cats catnip, you're basically saying it's okay to do crack, to do heroin, anything.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give out a couple of copies of your book here. I encourage you, if you don't get through, you definitely want to go to Amazon. To your local bookstore and order this book up. Is Grumpy Cat, would you say he got mixed up into drugs? Why is he grumpy all the time? Is it something on the dark side, right?
I think, it could just be that he's, unhappy about the direction of America. I don't begrudge him his expression. There's many days when I wake up and I read the newspaper and I'm grumpy too, so...
Okay, the book is called How to Talk to Your Cat About Gun Safety, Abstinence, Drugs, Satanism, and Other Dangers That Threaten Their 9 Lives. The author, Zachary Auburn. Pick it up right now. Thank you, Zachary, for hanging today, and please keep us posted to all of your brand new books.
Will do. Thank you.
Okay, it's time for us to get on out of here. I hope you do have that conversation with your cat, and do it today before you forget. Remember, if you need your fix during the week, head on over to animalradio.pet or download the Animal Radio app for iPhone and Android. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
This is Animal Radio Network.